What is good, Tsla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to break down some new updates involving Tesla stock, what the news is saying about the markets, what you should be watching for as time progresses. But before I begin the detailed information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Weeble link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Weeble and deposit $500, you guarantee 20 free stocks. This offer's been extended until the end of June, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, now let's break down what's happening with the markets. As right now, guys, the market's very choppy, trading sideways, not really doing a whole lot. Tesla got this nice pump up to 187, coming just short of my 188's target. Then since then, ended up retracing back down to its key EMAs over here around 185. And since then, for the past hour and a half, it's been just trading sideways around 185, going back and forth and back and forth. And there isn't really much going on with Tesla. So I want to break some more information about this in just a few minutes. Just note that we got the manufacturing numbers. They were a little bit below expectations, at least for our manufacturing index reports, but everything else has been so. And then moving forward, I just wanted to say that we just have Cook giving a speech from the Fed, and the rest of the data is going to be quite minor, so it's not going to really affect the market as much. Now, moving forward, there's been a lot of talk about how Tesla's battery health test is going to be a new thing in the app, which allows us to see how the battery health is looking. One thing that's worth noting is that the battery capacities do deteriorate over time, but it's really not that crazy. Some tests have found that Tesla's batteries deteriorate by about 15 to 12% after driving 200,000 miles, which is actually not bad whatsoever. And they still have quite a bit that is functional. On top of this, you can actually see a lot more about the range that the Teslas have, and also the test. You could also test, the battery using service mode. So very cool updates, at least for Tesla moving forward. On top of all this, I want to call out this right here. There's been a lot of talk about the Tesla Model Y Juniper update. And although it's not going to be coming out for this year, as Elon Musk has confirmed, so this will not be coming out this year, but there's a big but. There's been a lot of talk about this. We don't know when it's going to arrive, maybe next year, who knows? But I do believe there's a very good chance the Model Y is going to get a refresh similar to that of the Model 3. But I think that's it's going to take time for us to get there. And there's been a lot of talk about how cool it's going to be. So it's going to have likely a more sleek design compared to before. There's been a lot of talk about that. And there's going to be a lot more improvements to its overall exterior. There's going to be a redesigned amount of mirrors, not to mention more slim taillights, and the overall body is going to have a lot more of a slim design that's going to be a lot more stylish. They're also hoping to give it a nice makeover overall with a new face. It's going to look very cool. The interior is also going to be having a lot of really cool things, such as interior mood lighting, not to mention a change in style. That will also be very awesome, alongside updated wipers, lights, and turn signals, and the voice assist. So very cool things should be coming out for this. Do I know when this is going to come out? The answer is not necessarily. I don't know exactly when, but there has been some talk about this coming out for next year. We know for sure that this year it's not going to be coming out. Musk already confirmed this, but once the time comes for this could be very bullish news for Tesla. So I'll be keeping an eye on this. If Tesla makes any announcements for when it may come out, that's going to be very important. Excuse me. So what's happening to Tesla moving forward? Very boring. I did say that Tesla will likely push higher. That is what we got. And since then, we're just kind of chopping. So we went all the way up to 187. Now we're kind of retracing back down to 185, retesting our 20 and 50 EMAs. And we're likely going to continue to just shuffle back and forth, not really doing a whole lot. That's the most likely possibility. For SPY, we're also kind of shuffling here, going back and forth and back and forth. We have resistance currently around 544, and we have support all the way down towards 543.5 and then 543. All day, SPY has just been shuffling back and forth, price action, not really doing a whole lot. If we break past 544, we could attempt to try to break out to 544.5 once we break that trend line. So I have this trend line drawn out right here, this white line that's kind of like cutting as resistance. If we break through that, then yes, SPY can start pushing up for 545.8 or higher. And if we fail to do so, if we end up losing 543, we'll be dipping all the way down towards the low we saw yesterday, towards 542s basically will be coming. However, we're not really doing either. We're just stuck going back and forth, and we're just very choppy. So I think SPY is going to likely continue to chop around. There is going to be a risk of downside if we fail to break past 544, but in all seriousness, I think I would rather just give this some time and just see what this ends up doing from there. For Nvidia, I called out in the morning that Nvidia should be testing resistance around 124. The reason I called that out is because when you look at the 4-hour time frame, we are approaching very closely to where our 50 and 20 EMAs happen to be. So I could see a little bit more upside for Nvidia, but we'll have to watch to see if we get a rejection. Could go a little bit high, and if we get that rejection, we'll be dipping back down lower later on. So we did bounce off previous support becoming resistance, which is once again off the 115 area. And now Nvidia is approaching its key EMAs. We'll see if we get a rejection or not. But overall, it's still holding up well. So I'd rather just give this some time. For Bitcoin, Bitcoin actually has been on a bit of a downtrend. We did end up retesting the 62,000 area as we predicted. So I'll be watching this if you break past the 62,250. If that breaks, look for 63,700. And if we reject off 62,250, we could be dipping back down lower. Overall, there's a bit of a downtrend, so I'll have to give this some time, and then we'll have to see how things end up developing from here. For the QQQ, the QQQ is also once again looking relatively uh, decently right now because of Nvidia. We called out 478 in my earlier morning video. Watch 478.81 as resistance. If we break through that, we could push higher to 480. If we reject, we'll be retracing back down to 474. So overall, we're still kind of stuck. So we'll just have to give this a little bit more time. Let me just double check this. Apple's on a bit of a downtrend. We're still kind of stuck between supply and demand. We have 210 and 212.5 as resistance. We have support at 207. There's no true sign that Apple's turning quite yet. We can't say that yet, so we'll just have to see if we get a rejection or not. I just want to call out that we have to be a little bit careful looking at the price action. So we'll see how that ends up developing. For Supermicro, we're still attempting to rebound. We could go a little higher to 855 to 860 if not, and even higher than that would take us to 870. Could go a little higher. We'll see if we get a rejection off that range. But look for a little pump, and then we'll see if that rejection ends up coming. For AMD, AMD's on a bit of a downtrend right now. We're kind of shuffling a bit, but I could see a retest of 158 flat. If we end up losing that, we could be dipping down to about 155. Otherwise, we're just a little bit more bearish. For Coinbase, we're rebounding to 220. We'll watch and see if this rejects. If we break through that, look for 225. And then we could reject off one of those levels. So I'll give that a little bit more time. For Amazon, we're also looking decent. We're actually trying to push towards 190 again. If we get a big rejection, we'll be dipping back down to 185. If we break through this, we could push higher. Overall, it's still looking more bullish as we have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure forming. So I could see a test of 190. Then we'll have to see how it ends up reacting. For Meta, we're also holding up nicely. We're going to be looking for a nice push towards 510. It's holding up very, very well. And if we break that, I'll be looking at 515. Overall, looking a little bit more bullish. That's it, guys. I'm going to now focus on just a few more. The memes are still kind of flat. GameStop is still shuffling around 22.75, not really doing much. AMC is also dipping to 4.3 to fill its gap. Let me just do Google and Microsoft, and I'll finish the video. Google's bullish. We broke past 182, so now we're pushing up, trying to break our highs. So I'll be looking at 185 as our next target. So far, it's holding up very well. Microsoft is also pushing up to 450 as we predicted, so that's also holding up well. We'll watch and see how we end up reacting to resistance. I'll have to give that some time. But with that being said, thank you all for listening. I'll probably conclude the video from here. So have a great day, guys, and just know that right now Tesla is very choppy. I think we're going to get a lot more volatility next week, so we just have to give that more time. But until then, the market continues to chop around. Tesla's also chopping around this 185 area, so I'll give it some time and see how things go going into tomorrow and beyond. But with that being said, please have a great day, guys. I'll see you guys very soon, and peace out.